to the conversation. Wherever you are, thanks for joining us here on State of Play. We go with the flow indeed, and so just come on board. I'm sure you follow the conversation around neutrality allowance and paying the civil servants and local government staff to stay politically neutral. But is there a sense in which the political class is complicit in this? Because first of all, remember that they agreed to pay them. The politicians sat with the Clocksack members in a room, and they agreed that we'll pay you 20%, pay attention, 20% of your basic pay. That's a lot of money. Yeah. So that you remain politically neutral. But Raymond and Wing say, my argument is, there's a reason why the politicians agree that. Of course, they have not been paid, they've not managed to pay it. But because they themselves know that they have no moral right not to pay this money. And I think the Clocksack people knew this. Because you have a political class that, as we know, they're fleecing the state. Yeah. Making loads of money. Have you seen the latest V8 2022 versions?
Yeah. 70th anniversary.
70th anniversary.
Yes.
Beautiful suite.
Yes.
When we invite them to the shows, they come with it.
Yeah.
Latest! And they said, we are the placing a moratorium on, but we bought the cars.
The cars are in town. The cars are in town already.
Yeah. And they're driving on our street.
Yeah.
So you are enjoying all this. Then you have the workers who come to you and say, we need 20% of that on top of what we get to remain politically neutral. What do you think the politicians sitting in that room with them will have the moral authority to say no? No wonder they agree to pay. Now they can't pay, obviously, but for me, that's the heart of the problem.
To be fair, if you start from the point where we expect every civil servant to act in the interest of the state, so according to Mas Verba, these are people that are almost like statues or robots. Their job, they know it so well. They are so properly educated. They are so properly skilled, and yet they are so neutral that whatever government is in place, they serve the government. So, as the minister says, they are advisors. They will tell you what's right, what's wrong. You make your own decision and decide the way forward. That is inherently the job of the civil service in any country. They run the state and politicians make the policy decisions on top of it. Unfortunately, in our system, we have reduced everybody who is not in the partisan system as losing out.
That's true.
Yeah. So
you're either partisan or you're poor.
If you are right out of school, check your colleagues that you left school with.
Yeah.
The people that entered politics straight away, and some of them became members of parliament. Others also did other things. They became part of the political structure.
Yeah.
Just ordinary members of government sitting somewhere in the office of the president, they will be in the 5 years of you leaving school better off than you are.
True.
If you don't take care, in the next 10 years, the difference between you and them will be so massive that you'll be shocked as to whether you study the same courses and end up with the same degrees. So that is the reality.
You have plenty of friends like that.
They are big men in this republic.
They're driving the fresh V8.
Yeah, they don't give you. They don't give you waves. They'll say, everything okay.
Cutting sounds.
Yes. So in reality, all of us aspire to be in that system. That's the underpinning principle. Yeah. And it's the reason why they are angry that they are being deprived of the opportunity to be there.
Yeah, but you see, Raymond, if you aspire to be in that position, no problem. Continue your aspirations and leave the job. But you see, so this whole thing about, because I cannot benefit, and this is the mentality. Because I cannot,
they actually said it.
Yes,
they've actually said
it. Because they cannot benefit from.
In fact, the deputy minister told you.
He told me because they cannot benefit from the political largesse. Yes. They cannot fleece the state. They should be compensated. Compensated for doing what?
For going the
but your code for seeking to serve the nation.
Your code of conduct. The code of conduct tells you that if you want to engage in partisan politics, get out. But you see, the worst part is that you agree to pay them 20% of their salary.
Yes.
When you had actually approved the budget. So where were you going to get the money from?
That's a very big part of it.
The
other side is even agreeing to pay them.
Yes, that's the point.
And giving it that name.
No, but
it doesn't make sense on the face of it.
But before I can even come to the name, you agreed to pay them in January. When you had approved the budget, when you had made no provision for it, you said you were going to pay in, March.
When creating arrears. You are not sure whether you get e-levy.
2,
when you are told the whole nation that we are in austerity times.
Look,
and it was obvious from the time we read the budget previously that these are very difficult times in the making.
Look, let me tell you something. We need, I've heard people saying, we need to take a second look at our salary structure.
Mm-hmm.
We need
Which I agree with.
I agree.
Restructuring.
We need to take a second look at how much we pay the 0.1%.
Yes.
That is what we need to take a
That's the
second
point
look
I'm
at.
making.
Article
I
71
only agree to the restructuring to the extent that it will mean
Include-
a cut in
Because-
the allowances and salaries of Article 71 office holders.
I actually think that they should bring all of them.
Not just them.
To the same
not
span.
just them. Not just them. I think that even the Article 71 office holders, we're missing it. We've been talking about the SOEs.
SOEs, yeah.
Yes.
All of them.
It is the SOEs. That's what the problem is. Because each of an SOE CEO who earns more than the president.
Yeah. No, but no, that policy had been changed now. The standard
what?
now is that nobody in the public service and LCs should earn above the president.
Okay.
So the president is sort of the threshold.
The president's salary is what, 49,000?
Yes.
Go and check. There are SOE
CEOs today.
They earn more than 49,000
Today.
I am telling
One
you.
CEO. With all the allowance.
Okay, so this is what I understand. I understand that this policy has been implemented for new CEOs.
Oh, yes.
But those, because
Yes.
remember that
Yes,
you cannot
yes.
vary. Remember, listen, you cannot vary
Yes.
a person's terms of service to his
so-
disadvantage.
that's true.
So you cannot say I'm earning 5,000. I'm reviewing to come and earn
So what do
3,000.
you do?
So you can't do it.
What do
It's
you
just-
do?
that's
What do
not-
you
not-
do?
not
What do you do? It is very simple.
Yeah.
What do you do? The board will disengage and advertise the position again.
Yeah,
If you are coming,
yeah.
this is how much we're going to pay you.
Yeah, but that's what they are doing. So
But
for
they have not
example,
done that.
the
Some
new,
of-
no, so for example, the new GMPC CEO, for example, it will apply to
It will apply to him.
Yes.
But let me, because he's gone now, the old one is gone. But let me make the point. So the point I am making is that whoever sat in that meeting,
Yeah.
and the last time I spoke to Bakroku Broby,
He couldn't mention the people.
but for the fact that we're on.
No, but the
put it
document I've seen, Finance Ministry was there,
Yeah.
Employment Ministry was
Yes.
there, Clocksack was there, so all of them signed.
All of these people are causing financial loss to the state.
Yeah.
Our wages and salaries has increased from about 14 billion in 2016 to a projected 35 billion in 2022. What are we talking about? We're talking about an increase of 21 billion Ghana cedis, more than 150% increase over the period. What is the corresponding productivity in this country?
So let me take a controversial view on this, and I know
You
I'll
want
be
to
hammered
hear
for
my
this.
side before you take your controversial
Okay,
view?
you let me hear yourself.
I'm actually saying that everybody that sat in the meeting
Yeah.
represented government. See, we are stakeholders of this country,
Mm-hmm.
ordinary people. We elect leadership to go and represent us, and they represent our interests all the time.
Yeah.
I actually think that they represented their interests more than the interests of the nation. To that extent, they should be sacked or made to resign.
Chairman,
Nobody in any private entity will go into this negotiation
Exactly.
and do the way they did it.
Your own money?
It's only possible that this is a Republic of Ghana's money.
So let me
So
agree
to the
with
extent that they wasted the money,
Let me agree
they
with
should be
you
sacked
and
immediately. In
then
fact,
depart.
if they're not prosecuted, they should be sacked
Let
immediately.
me agree with you and depart. I agree, sack them, but let them pay. Then you sack them. Let them pay
With their own money.
No.
With the state money. So we cannot pay that utility allowance.
Oh no, we can't. We don't have the money to pay.
We don't have the money.
The kind of distortion you create in this country, and the demands now will follow from it.
But you can pay the SOEs 90 million entertainment allowance. That one you can pay. Wait. Let me finish my point.
Okay,
My
I get
point
you.
is this: we sit in this country. Article 71 of and political class, including SOE guys, they're all politically appointed
That's
people,
true.
right? Chop all these allowance, huge monies, V8, free fuel, free accommodation, all those largesse, they chop it. You are okay to pay. The first time, the ordinary poor Ghanaian worker, the civil servants,
The bottom.
the bottom lower of the lowest, manages to also chop some of the largesse. Eh? You are sitting here saying that we can't pay. Wait. Let me
You see, I agree.
Wait. Let me
The fact that one is wrong, that cannot be that the other is right.
I'm not done.
You are doing a you two kind of argument.
My point is, if you want fairness, if you take away the 20% from their mouth, take away all the.
Isn't that what I started by saying?
No, but wait. My point
Is it 0.1%? We should deal with them.
That will not happen. We've already agreed to pay. Look, the workers have suffered for a long time. We talk about productivity. It's a different conversation. I get it. But workers have suffered. For the first time, they sit around the table with a politician who they know is chopping their money. The money you are paying the workers is their taxes too. It's their taxes too. If you've agreed, pay the workers. Don't now go and run away. And that's what I started, the way I started, that the politicians, they are complicit in this. When I sit around the table with a boss who himself is enjoying big money, sitting in a fantastic car, 2022 car, enjoying on, and I say, boss, I want 20% of the pie you are chopping, make a chop some. You think that the boss will have any moral authority to say no? That is why they agree to it, because they know. And that's why they call it, they agree to call it neutrality allowance. In fact, it is
that's the worst part.
Yeah, why? It is
that's the worst part.
And he said, the minister you spoke to on your show, on Morning Show, he said, it is compensation you are paying them for remaining political.
Is that not why you should not be at post?
I don't disagree with that, sack him. Then he says, we agree to pay them the compensation to be political neutral because we know that the political realm is a juicy realm. And me, the deputy minister, I'm chopping the juicy realm already.
Yeah. So you are close. You are number 2 on the layer.
Yeah, I'm chopping.
So we are the top. You are chopping. You should get something
small. So when the guy comes and says, boss, you are chopping the juicy. So you give it to the person, make sure you chop some. How can the guy say no to the guy?
I get your point, but we are building a nation here.
So I'm saying that. I'm saying that for the very first time, let the poor workers chop some.
This is my departure.
But the meat is down to the bone. We don't have the money.
Easy.
This thing that we have been saying, we don't have the money, guys.
Easy.
Whether you stop it or not,
one at a time.
The political will chop already. They are chopping the bone, they are chopping already. So let all chop. So that if the thing is going down, so we know that the poor workers chop somewhere we go down.
Let me come in at this time.
After that, I agree.
Let me come in at this time. You want them to chop some,
yes,
and still fire them, and you want him to pay and still fire him,
yes.
But why would you fire him? Because you are saying that he's done the right thing.
No.
If you agree he has done the wrong thing, then sack him.
Wait.
You correct it and sack him.
You guys don't get my argument. My argument is that you can't correct it.
We'll sack him and correct it.
You cannot vary a worker's compensation and package to his advantage. Now it's sealed. It is.
There's no money to pay.
Please, what I say?
You can only agree to what you can pay.
But if you have no money to pay, what I say? I the finance ministry.
We don't have the money.
When they sign the contract, the finance ministry appended their signature to the document. So you are sitting here saying
it's the reason why I want to replace them.
It's
the reason why I want to change them. Anybody that agreed to this,
get me. Sack the people who agreed to the thing. But what is done is done. You sack them and say, okay, you've done the wrong thing.
But why do I pay and still sack you? If I sack you, means you've done the wrong thing. I won't pay.
You can't overturn it.
I won't pay.
No, it's not casting gold.
It's casting stone.
No, not at all.
The die is
allowance. We can scrap the allowance. We can scrap the allowance.
Raymond.
By your best friends, the single fight. You're on it. Your position is determined.
Hold on.
Let me ask you a question.
Then we should change the civil service.
Question 2 signs an agreement with you to give it 20% on top of what he pays you. You both of you sign.
Yeah. An
allowance. 3 months on. Question 2 hasn't paid. Then he says, "Oh, I can't pay, so I'm scrapping it." You say, "Okay, thank you very much." There you go. That's what you say.
2 things. I'll come to the table with a single demand that if you pay, if you're unable to pay, I'll leave.
Yes.
But to the point, you see, and I agree. One point here is
pay the boys.
We are talking here about the period they have agreed.
Yeah.
If today they reverse the policy, the allowance today, I agree with you that they should pay for the month that have actually elapsed. I do not disagree with that. But that policy should be reversed. It is unconscionable, it's nonsensical, it doesn't make any sense, and it is fleecing the nation.
I
agree with Professor Ted.
No, wait. Hold on.
So you are saying that we are accusing.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point.
What is fleecing? That's me.
Hold on. Guys, let me make my point.
Why should one person chop on the cake?
Evans, let me make my point.
I have not supported the politician.
The 20% won't kill us.
It will kill us. Is the problem?
The finance minister.
See, when they put the political class together,
let us not make that mistake.
I'm sure they're even up to 100,000.
No, they are not.
We're talking about 700,000. You see, let's look at the difference properly.
Yeah, but not all of them will get it.
I get your point.
But you see,
so far, the conversation has not been that no, we need to restructure, and I agree that we should come back to that table. Listen, by even giving them this allowance and going ahead with this structure, we are basically distorting the current system that we have. That's why TUC is sending signals of where else
they also want 20%.
Neutrality people are.
Yeah, but what
helps service workers?
Can we pay? Okay, hold on. Evans, look at what we have done this year. We have started by actually reducing, cutting on our budgets by 30%.
Yeah.
That budget that we cut 30%, We cut 30% in capital expenditure.
Yeah.
Also, capital expenditure has been affected.
That's very important.
Very, very important. If you want to grow your economy,
of the country.
Who did the cut?
Hold on. Let me finish.
Government, of course.
No, not government.
The finance minister announced it.
And who signed this?
Hold on. Let me finish.
What are you guys
Now
saying?
you have decided they are going to pay workers 20% of their basic salary as in charity allowance.
Yes.
TUC says we must also take some.
Yeah.
TUC says let us also take some.
Will be
And TUC is also telling you that we will not even take any salary increase less than the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
And you see, they deliberately have been mentioning the 19.4.
Yes.
When they know fully well that the average year is not in with the 19.4.
Yes.
But they deliberately have been mentioning 19.4.
Now they are making that a point because they say we must also benefit. The people we are suffering. We are suffering. Russia, Ukraine just started. Don't use that as an excuse. But the point I tell you is that you live in a country where your total revenue, domestic tax revenue, is 80 billion Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And it goes into the payment of 2 expenditure items, which is in salaries and interest payments.
That has been
existing wages and salaries and payments.
And what
money to pay the rest?
Where are you getting the money to pay the rest?
You show us where the money is coming
the
from.
first time the ordinary worker wants to chop some of the pie, you are saying they shouldn't pay them.
No, we say they should sack the man who signed.
Yes.
Sack the man who signed.
Yes, my pay.
And tell the ordinary worker that if you are not happy, and I'll say this, if you are not happy, Raymond made a point that if you are not happy with your employer, sack your employer.
But
sack your employer.
They can only do that at the polls.
No. You can leave the job. Leave.
But why? These are highly skilled
Sack
personnel.
your employer.
So
these are highly skilled personnel that have been told. These are
sack
people
your employer. Leave.
Have been told.
but guys, what's your problem with paying the money?
We don't have the money.
One.
Is that
Two, it is unconscionable
are you in
to
charge
me.
of the purse?
We don't have the money.
The person in charge of the purse.
We don't have the
They
money.
are paid by now.
We're not paid by now.
So what can you say?
End of the year.
They cannot pay. They don't have it. Oh, what are you saying?
I beg, wait. I'm listening to the deputy finance minister. He never on newsfile, never once they become paid.
Do you want the truth?
For how long have we been saying that we are broke in this country? It's not until recently that government admitted we are broke. Government always takes a time to come to the table, and we agree with that.
They never on PMS.
We know better.
The head of the local government, Dr. Tuata, was clear that they've agreed to pay them, but they will start paying them from last.
Why is Tuata still on strike?
Because maybe the agreement they didn't. They
should just give them the agreement. That agreement they're talking about.
They don't have it. They don't have the money.
It is the point. They don't have the money. We need to save this nation. Listen, we are not in 2017. This is 2022.
Yeah.
This is the year that merely 2 years after what they call it, COVID.
Yeah.
We are still struggling to put in place. Just a couple of months ago, we're crying that we've been downgraded into junk status.
I agree.
This economy is at its worst. Let's not pretend.
Yeah, it's only at its worst when public sector workers want to chop some.
No. We have been saying it has this way before this thing came up.
We have said it. We have been saying it.
You've been saying it.
We say.
And yet the small political class have been chopping. They don't care.
That is why we say we should.
The problems
we should review the whole structure.
See, we are all Ghanaians.
Yeah, but the workers
The
are
fact
Ghanaians.
that a grouping have been doing the wrong thing should not mean that others should join the team. What we should all agree is that this country is suffering, is hemorrhaging. We need to save it. Saving it doesn't include add more people to the problem.
Those who are doing the wrong thing, should be compelled to do the right thing.
Yes.
And they must be compelled to do the right thing by telling them that you cannot be taking 50,000 when your advisor takes 3,000. Are you serious?
I agree. That's terrible.
Are you serious?
But the difference should not be bringing the advisor up to 35,000.
No.
That's not what you're saying.
Reduce the
It's 50,000.
50,000.
That's for the state.
Let him come down.
The argument is should never be that, because they are taking, you should also take something.
The president said if you want to make money, you want to make money, go into the private sector.
Let me understand the politicians. It's the same for every civil service too.
But here's the thing. But again, my whole argument is balancing this power equation between the poor civil servants and the powerful politicians.
Let's get to the messages.
All the calls that you guys are making that said, cut the politician's salary. Yesterday, did you listen to the Minister for Business, Public Enterprises?
Yeah.
I love fat salaries.
Yeah.
I love it.
Basically gloating about being in that particular
position. They deserve it.
But he's part of the problem. He's not
my point to you is
he's not a solution to the problem.
My point to the people who are in charge of making the decisions are all politicians. So they're not going to make that decision to cut their own salary. So once they agree small for that poor ordinary man to also get some.
But they agree 25%.
Don't take that from their mouth. Wherever we can find that money to pay these poor workers, pay them. But don't make that mistake again.
You'll be creating additional debt for a country that's already debt ridden.
That's my point.
But you'll be creating more debt for a country that's debt ridden.
If the politician wants it, they find it. Look. Don't. I think
find it from where?
Look. The politicians wanted 2022 V8 Toyota.
Yeah.
The problems the economy is facing right now predated 2022. They ordered these cars definitely at the latter end of 2021 when we were well in the crisis. And they ordered and said, if they wanted to enjoy, they will find a way and find the money to enjoy. Wait, let me finish. Let's apply the same principle to the 20%. If these politicians want to pay the 20%, they will find the money to pay.
What you're saying is that let justice be done even if the heavens may fall.
Yes.
But that is disastrous. That is said. See, listen.
What are you saying?
We are heading to the direction where tomorrow, another group of workers says, hey, we are health workers. The entire nation shall depend on us.
Listen.
If you don't give us additional amount of money in this case, we will also strike.
When the Committee on Emolument recently did their regrading, and we complained, got the document leaked. The same argument. We don't have money. We are a poor country. The politicians found the money to pay themselves.
I am saying.
Wait. They found the money to pay themselves.
No, listen. I am saying.
Now the worker gets 20%. You say we don't have money. What are you guys saying?
I am saying that.
What are you guys saying?
I am saying that this Adanko Dadabe kind of thing must stop.
What?
This situation whereby you say, because I have paid myself, I'll pay you, it must stop.
Yeah. It's like collective stealing.
No, but it's almost like, I don't believe that. This rarely happens.
Let us stop that.
Where the worker and the politicians are aligned on the matter, they rarely happen. No, the politicians.
Look, we don't. No. Hold on.
We don't want the workers to represent the politicians. We want them to represent the state. We don't want them to be friends of politicians. It is against our interest that the workers are not.
I agree with that, but I'm saying that doesn't happen often.
Raymond.
So if it happened once, pay the price.
Do you do anything called mentoring allowance?
No, there's something like
professors mentoring.
You know mentoring allowance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when you went to university, you saw that kind of thing happening.
Where they abuse the situation in the name of mentoring allowance.
I say, let us take a second look at our salary structure.
Yeah.
And remove all these allowances. Height allowance in this country called Ghana.
Entertainment allowance.
Inconvenience allowance.
Then people are taking transport. People are taking all manner of things, clothing allowance, everything. I am telling you that if you want to run a country and run it well, a country that spends.
I agree with you.
A country that spends so much on salaries.
That's the general call.
I agree.
That's our only central point.
I agree with.
No. There's not any battle at this point.
There's no battle. Let's get to the message.
That's the key point.
Exception of the specific instance of the neutrality.
Let's get to the messages. Now, Zakaria Salifu says it was Afmafu who led the negotiations team again. You're asking a question. He wasn't the one. So you conclude by saying, from a Japan to neutrality allowance, this group of people will collapse this country. Then Shatlom says it was signed because of the 2020 elections. Complete bribe for vote. It was signed this year. This year. That's what we've been saying. I mean, Chinebua Enoch also says, say the truth. It was signed because of election 2020. That is absolutely wrong. It was signed this year, 2022.
Yeah, but we're not saying that it is wonderful because it was signed this year.
Yeah, we have not said that.
We are saying it is perhaps the worst decision any politician can make. That at the time that you tell everybody that there's no money in the country, that's the time you sign some of these agreements. It is poor judgment.
Exactly.
That you should be sacked for. That's what we're actually saying on this network.
I see Marvin Sechi mentioning your name, Evans, and laughing out loud.
I'm sure, Marvin, you agree with the point I'm making.
He agrees with your point that what?
That on this matter, pay them, but
no, we cannot pay them. We don't have the money.
So this one says, this is Thomas Mensah. It says, when government officials are enjoying huge allowances and a whole lot, we tend to tell people that there's no money in the system. That is Thomas agreeing with Evans. Those who agree on this allowance negotiated in good faith on behalf of what was sealed. So they should pay, or is a bribe courtesy Prof. Ade? Well, you heard what Prof. Ade said yesterday.
By the way, let's spare a thought for Prof. Ade. Professor Ade's argument to you yesterday was that sack the workers and bring the military. You agree?
It says in the interim, bring the military to instill order, then you recruit fresh workers. Deep within my heart, I think it's a very draconian way of dealing with this. But if push comes to shove, it should not be off the table.
It should not
be off the table.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because you see,
even if
at some point we should be radical in fixing the problems of this country.
We should do what? Go and put the military there.
No, he's saying that sack the people if they don't want to work without neutrality allowance.
That's what the sacking they will sack them. They won't go back.
Secondly,
Then when you sack them,
there's a void that will be occupied.
Ask that question.
So fill in with the military.
Yeah, in the interim.
Once we recruit people to fill in that position, then you go to the best
Filling with what? Filling with what?
Yeah, the best you see some constable standing there.
Filling in what? With what?
Some last couple standing there. They can misbehave at the best.
I hate to say this.
Yeah.
You fill it with the military. In no time.
They will replace the politicians.
Well, in this country, certain words are banned. In no time, they will replace the politicians.
Oh no, we are giving them an interim role.
Interim what?
We use military men to fix problems in the interim.
Yeah,
we've used them to do bridges. We've used them for emergencies, and this will be an emergency, and that's his proposal. This emergency can be resolved.
You know, the only reason I'm beginning to consider it is that when the military men get in there, the politicians will stop fleecing the state. Because they know that if they do,
there'll be trouble.
Oh, sorry, Kofi.
Yeah. The end of discussion.
That's the end of the discussion. Because the military man is standing there with his gun. He's been trained to kill. But that wouldn't happen.
Abukay Al-Hassan has this message. Forgive me, let me read it. I don't believe what they say. They are cutting 30%. If they want us to believe them, then they should tell us where the 30% cut will be, what it will be used for. These people will end up setting up emolument committee to increase their salaries. The government agreed to this neutrality allowance because of election 2024, a point that has been disputed. From Al-Hassan Mion, wait for agenda 111 for 2023. That is what he's actually saying.
Winzo says Ghana is heading towards something, or I cry always. Don't worry. When they get the 20% sum, you stop crying.
Won't get any 20%.
Stone says those who agree on this allowance negotiated in good faith. That's Stone. And this one says neutrality allowance. We need to fix this problem at the core. The name is Alex. Yes, Alex wrote that. And some of these comments are also on Twitter too. So maybe it puts it in perspective, the reactions that people are having to many of the things that we've been saying on this one.
Okay.
We should be wrapping up, except that we hope government does not listen and say, no, these young men are just making noise and saying, listen, government should be mindful of its representative role. You're representing the masses of this country. It's not a personal pocket that you're running. This is not the best way to represent us. You should be happy people are not on the streets protesting. So let the decent thing be done. Continue with the legitimate role by letting the decent thing be done. The president should tell the people who did this deal that you did not represent the country well. And so leave the position. Let's find people who can do this way better.
You have shown that you failed.
No, I mean, how many of these agreements have they done on our black side? You ask yourself that question. You ask yourself that question. How many of these very nonsensical agreements have they done on our side? It cannot be the case.
Cry the beloved country.
If you have the relative.
Who's the beneficiary?
I have relatives in there. It still won't work. Cry the beloved country.